Available now. Link below.
Brace yourselves, my friends, for a journey into the heart of darkness as we peel back the layers of deceit and corruption that have plagued Boeing for far too long. What you're about to witness will shake you to your core and leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the aviation industry. The MAX jet scandals were just the beginning, a mere glimpse into a sinister world where profits take precedence over human lives. From mysteriously overwritten camera footage to missing maintenance records, Boeing's web of lies is unraveling before our very eyes. But the real question is, how far does this rabbit hole go? As whistleblowers die under suspicious circumstances and politicians dump their Boeing stock, it's clear that the tentacles of corruption reach far and wide. So buckle up, because what you're about to discover will change the way you look at flying forever. Now, before we dive into this shocking report, let me ask you something. How safe do you feel flying these days, especially on a Boeing plane? Well, it's a chilling thought, isn't it? Well, just like Boeing's been keeping secrets, your utility company may be hiding something too. Sky-high heating bills. That's right. With costs soaring, it's time to take control with this amazing little portable heater. This game-changing device can quickly warm up any room while keeping your hard-earned money in your pocket. Don't let greedy utility companies leave you out in the cold. Get yours now for a whopping 55% off and enjoy a risk-free 60-day guarantee at getwarmnow.com. That's getwarmnow.com. Now, the Boeing scandal has rocked the aviation industry to its core, exposing a culture of deceit, negligence, and blatant disregard for human life. As the layers of this sort of affair are peeled back, it becomes increasingly clear that the once revered aerospace giant has lost its way, prioritizing profits over the safety of passengers and crew. Now, the latest chapter in this nightmare began with a terrifying incident aboard Alaska Airlines Flight 558, when a crucial door plug blew out mid-flight, leaving passengers fearing for their lives. Take a look.
After the dramatic mid-air blowout of a door panel in January, the FAA launched an audit of Boeing's 737 production process. Boeing failed 33 of 89 sections, including one dealing with the same type of door panel. The FAA also found 97 incidents of alleged non-compliance. The most common was failing to follow Boeing's own standards and practices. The audit comes as Boeing admitted to lawmakers last week it cannot find paperwork documenting repairs performed on that Alaska Airlines door panel, saying it is likely that it was never created. The NTSB investigation indicates the bolts holding that door in place were not reinstalled.
We will continue to increase our oversight to make sure the planes that are getting their airworthiness certificates are safe airplanes.
Is not having the paperwork on we took a door off and put it back on not enough of a red flag?
It is one of the factors that we're considering as we formulate a plan to get the quality assurance where it needs to be. There should be paperwork for that.
FAA Administrator Michael Whitaker.
It wasn't just paperwork issues. Sometimes it's order that work is done. Sometimes it's tool management. So it's really plant floor hygiene, if you will, and a variety of issues of that nature.
As first reported by the New York Times, FAA also looked at supplier Spirit Aerosystems, which makes the body of the 737 MAX. The company failed 7 of 13 sections of that audit. Inspectors flagged workers using a hotel key card to check a door seal and Dawn dish soap as a lubricant.
Spirit tells CBS News it's working to address and incorporate lessons learned from the audit. Boeing today announced a series of changes it's making to improve its quality processes because of these findings. Nora.
Chris.
So as the investigation into this near catastrophe deepens, the disturbing reality of Boeing's negligence comes to light. In a move that reeks of a cover-up, the company has allegedly overwritten crucial security camera footage that could have identified the technician responsible for working on the ill-fated door. This blatant obstruction of justice not only impedes the investigation, but also showcases Boeing's willingness to go to any lengths to bury the truth. Disturbingly, this is not an isolated incident. The Federal Aviation Administration's recent audit of the Boeing 737 MAX production line revealed, as you saw, a staggering 33 failures out of 89 checks, painting a picture of a company that has lost control of its manufacturing process. From missing bolts to cracked windows and engine failures, the safety of Boeing's aircraft is increasingly being called into question. Now, it's a stark reminder that when corporate greed takes precedent over the well-being of passengers, the consequences can be absolutely deadly. As if these revelations weren't damning enough, the tragic story of John Barnett, a former quality control manager turned whistleblower, adds another layer of horror to this unfolding saga. Barnett, who bravely raised concerns about substandard parts and alarming failure rates in emergency oxygen systems, he pay the ultimate price for his commitment to safety. Watch.
Dozens of people were injured on a flight from Australia to New Zealand due to a technical issue on a Boeing 787. It was followed by the news that a former Boeing employee who blew the whistle on alleged safety problems has been found dead. Officials say 62-year-old John Barnett died Saturday from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. Barnett recently testified against Boeing in a whistleblower lawsuit. He worked at Boeing for over 3 decades. Boeing expressed its condolences. Boeing has been under scrutiny since the fatal crashes of the Boeing 737 MAX in 2018 and 2019.
Found dead from an apparent self-injury just as Boeing was in Charleston for legal interviews related to its lawsuit. Barnett's untimely demise raises more questions than answers. Was he silenced for speaking the truth to power, or was the pressure of taking on a multi-billion-dollar corporation just too much to bear? Well, we may never know the full story. But one thing is certain, John Barnett's courage and sacrifice will not be forgotten. Now, the Boeing scandal has also exposed the unsettling reality of corruption and insider trading at the highest levels of government. The suspicious timing of Representative William R. Keating's sale of Boeing stock just 1 day before the Department of Justice announced their investigation into the company raises serious questions about the integrity of our elected officials. Here's more.
GOP Congressman Mike Garcia from Santa Clarita under fire tonight, accused of selling off thousands of shares of Boeing right before the release of a devastating report back in 2020. That story being reported in the Daily Beast. Congressman Garcia vehemently denies the claims, calling the story full of blatant lies. KCAL News political reporter Tom Wade is live in Garcia's district of Valencia with more for us tonight. Tom?
And good evening to you, Juan. That's right. Mike Garcia's office tonight saying this is a regurgitated story, one with plenty of falsehoods, they say. They also do admit, though, that they had a late disclosure, but reported it after the 2020 election.
I flew fighter jets in the U.S. Navy to protect the American dream.
GOP Representative Mike Garcia campaigned on his experience flying military aircraft. Now it's the sale in 2020 of his stocks in commercial aviation that has him on defense. A story published in the Daily Beast claims Garcia sold 50,000 shares of Boeing weeks before his committee made public a devastating report connected to the deadly crashes involving Boeing's 737 MAX. The 737 MAX was grounded for 2 years after 2 horrific and deadly crashes. The Daily Beast story also claims Garcia failed to report the sale, as he was required to do until after he won the hard-fought re-election campaign in 2020. Former federal prosecutor Scott Tenley.
There is going to be a paper trail. The question is going to be, what was his intent? Did he intend to hide it? Did he intend to trade on the Boeing inside information? That's the question that really needs to be looked into.
Congressman Garcia's office released a statement responding to the claims, saying in part, this is a desperate attempt to resurrect a previously failed partisan attack. The fact is, Congressman Garcia started to divest from companies as soon as he was elected in May 2020. The statement goes on to say, Congressman Garcia immediately rectified the accidental late filing. Everything is filed and everything is public. People are sick of these blatant lies. Representative Garcia represents one of the most hotly contested districts in Southern California.
Are they more concerned with lining their own pockets and protecting the public that they were sworn to serve? As the American people grapple with this betrayal of trust, it becomes clear that the rot within Boeing extends far beyond the walls of the company itself. Perhaps most infuriating of all is the revelation that Alaska Airlines had scheduled a maintenance check for the very plane that suffered the door blowout just hours before the terrifying incident occurred. Records show the aircraft had experienced multiple pressurization warnings in the days leading up to the event, yet Boeing and Alaska Airlines failed to take decisive action. This inexcusable lapse in judgment put countless lives at risk and highlights the dire need for stricter oversight and accountability within the aviation industry. As the investigations into Boeing continue to unfold, one thing becomes crystal clear: the status quo cannot be allowed to continue. It's time for a complete overhaul of the way we regulate and monitor the aerospace industry, with an unwavering commitment to transparency and safety. The American people deserve to have faith in the aircraft they entrust their lives to, and it's this responsibility of both Boeing and our government to ensure that this trust is never again betrayed. Now, the Boeing scandal is a wake-up call for all of us, a reminder of the devastating consequences that can occur when corporate greed and negligence are allowed to run rampant. As we move forward, we must demand better from those in power, holding them accountable for their actions, and ensuring that the safety of passengers and crew is always top priority. Only then can we begin to rebuild the shattered trust and restore confidence in an industry that plays such a vital role in our lives. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. The Boeing scandal is a chilling reminder of the dangers that arise when corporations prioritize profits over people. It's a story of greed, negligence, and a blatant disregard for the lives of those who place their trust in the aviation industry. As the investigation continues to unfold, exposing layer upon layer of deceit and corruption, it becomes clear the problem is far more than just a few bad actors. It's a systemic failure that demands immediate action and a complete overhaul of the way we approach aviation safety. We must hold Boeing and all those involved accountable for their actions, sending a clear message that such reckless behavior will not be tolerated. The lives lost and the trust betrayed cannot be forgotten, and it's up to us to ensure that this tragedy is never repeated. The American people deserve better, and it's time for us to demand it. Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.